kind of, if anything, just kind of wrap this up before just on the Tucker thing. Okay. Just before I forget, because again, I remember 60 years ago, but I can't remember how he started the sentence. But I followed Tucker Carlson since he had a bow tie. People will understand what that means. It's 1990s. It was a show called Crossfire. And it was CNN, and he did stuff before that too, but CNN, and he would get off on with the mandatory token liberal, right, with the terrible ideas, and he tried to be the single conservative. And he was great. He was great. I was a fan of his back then. What people don't realize is when he took over for Bill O'Reilly, Tucker's name was Barry. He was not a B tier, but just an up and coming guy like Jesse Waters. We won't talk about him. I know stuff. It's just so awesome with Jesse Waters, how far he's come. But Tucker was taking over for Bill O'Reilly, the O'Reilly factor. And very quickly, he just launched it even further than O'Reilly ever got it. Not, again, that's debatable and stuff, but amazing guy. I call him, and I'm not afraid to just tell like it is. I tell him to his face. He's a nice guy. I watched him speak in public. But he's an Ivy League guy. I think he'd be the first to tell you. He's an Ivy League guy, kind of a fraternity house guy. I don't know if he did the fraternity or not, but whatever. One of those guys, he'll tell you he was, don't use the word silver spoon, but he didn't have a tough upbringing at all. He's a California kid. But the thing that people don't know about Tucker and why I really have followed him, when I follow someone, Jordan Peterson, Donald Trump, Harry Brown, Tucker Carlson, when I follow those people, I know they're a bit ahead of the curve. But Tucker, he truly is a libertarian thinker. He'll say what is true in his mind, which is he was against the Iraq War, or at least against the invasion of Iraq. So was Donald Trump. So was Greg Meakin. Blah blah. Thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. It turned out to be a 20-year quagmire. So anyway, digressing here, but it's worth it. I just want to say, number one, how much I respect Tucker Carlson. He'll be in Calgary. Don't worry. It's just a matter of who's going to be there with him right now. It just depends on that.
Hey, if I have to pay $300 and sit in the asshole section, I'm there. I got money on the table, my friend.
Did you said the asshole section? I mean, you're just evolving to be cutting edge here. It's great. A lot of this is, I'm going to say seriously, will end up probably in the secret files. Parental warning against Val Olson, Hell Media Mom. Oh my God, $300 for the asshole section, huh?
Yeah, what handler? Like, what a loser handler brought that one in that number? Come on.
But if it's
don't be a loser.
Is it $300 Canadian or US? Because if it's $300 Canadian, that's no worries. That's like $18 US. That's $18 US is 300 Canadian. So just tying it up on the Tucker thing, and I'll cut to the chase. It's a little over actually 2 hours, and it's worth it to me. I'll make the rules, just rock and roll. I'm a manifester here, right? But on the Tucker thing, I've had this conversation with you many times. I've had it with the captain many times and other people. Is I go to the top. Always have. Don't know why, but it's been confirmed many times in my life. That was a good thing to do. If I wanted an endorsement for hockey, I got one from Wayne Gretzky. Speed skating, Apollo. Oh no. How about women's hockey? Cami Granado. If young women don't know Cami Granado's name, shame on you. Blah blah. We'll go to the top. And that's why we got Captain McCormick. That's why I think I have you, Val. I think you're the top as a journalist, investigative journalist. You simply ask questions that people don't ask. But Tucker, to me, and I've told this to Sheriff Mark Lamb and others, Tucker's the top. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, not shy, is I hope to be in touch with him. I consider him the top of journalism in the world right now, period. The throwback to true investigative journalists. The secret about Tucker is he's a wordsmith. He's not a TV guy, and never was. He's a wordsmith. His strength was editing and wordsmithing, which people don't know. I bet you if he wanted to sit for an hour and really do only one thing in journalism, it would be reading through maybe other people's stuff and editing and dissecting it as a wordsmith. People don't know that Tucker Carlson's a wordsmith, not necessarily a TV guy. But I consider him the top. I've said this before. If I ever contact anyone in the media at the national level, whatever, I'm only interested in talking to one person. No offense to anyone else, just Tucker Carlson, because he's at the top. And in my eyes, in my view. And we know, I think the top law enforcement in the state of Arizona is Sheriff Mark Lamb, but don't tell anyone. That's a secret, Val. I'm renaming sheriffs. I'm going to rename his campaign Lamb 51. He actually liked that. Lamb 51 makes a lot of sense. We've published it before. But that's the thing on Tucker, and he'll be there in Calgary. If he says he will, he will. So I encourage Premier Smith to visit with him. And I would, as I've said this before in the past, I'd ask her one question. I'd forward this to Tucker. If a referendum, a legitimate provincial referendum, just like the two I voted in Quebec, saying, hey, do you want to be do the people of Arizona, the same thing, Alberta, Arizona 48, Alberta 51, the people of Alberta, vote yes to the question, do you want to be the 51st state of the United States of America? That's it, up or down. The invitation from Thomas Jefferson's always been there, but yes or no. My question to Danielle Smith be, what would your answer be? Yes or no? You can't be undecided when you come down to election time. And I would just, honestly, I'd love to hear her answer, and that's with total respect, because my theory, and I've published this, Val, my theory is there's closet AB 51 voters up there I'm talking, forget thousands, right, Val? We've talked about this off the air. No, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, I don't know. But there's closet AB 51 voters because they simply can't say it publicly. Canadian journalism and press and the internet's already being censored by Canada. They're trying to do it down here. It's not going to work down here, Val. It's not going to work down here. And that's why we're on this platform on X. But that was a bit more of a monologue than I thought. But I encourage Danielle Smith to visit with Tucker. Because I'll tell you what, forget these labels. Tucker's the smartest guy I know. He's a true libertarian, but he's fair. He chided George W. Bush for invading Iraq, and I agreed with him, and Donald Trump agreed with him, and people gave him crap for that, but he was right. 20 years, what was it? I don't know, 20 years, X trillions of dollars. And then Joe Biden just says, hey, we'll call it a day and do what Democrats love to do, and that's surrender. They love to surrender. It's easy, and try and take credit for it. They love to allow crime to happen in big cities. They love that. It just seems to really work well for their platforms and even county and state regulations they put in. No worries, no problem. Let crime go rampant. That kind of thing. Tucker's really, really level and fair on all that stuff, and he'll call BS. Tucker Carlson will call BS on any Republican out there, Val. He'd call BS on you or me or anyone, because that's what good journalists do.
Well, he is American, though, and not Albertan. And there could be an intimidation factor, quite honestly, if you're only used to working with the state propaganda machine in Canada. So that could be what we're dealing with.
Well, I think you're hitting the head. I'll get it back to you. It's called Don't Be Scared. Okay. I'm just telling you, hey, it's nice to be on my own show, but to everybody up in Canada, and I remind myself every day, because I'm half Canadian, don't be scared. Do a Sheriff Mark Lamb. No fear, do right. Just do it. We listened to him say that, Val. He inspired me for that. Don't be scared. If you got fear, lean in. Remember this, Val? Lean into your fear.
Right.
And so I would say, I wouldn't want to, honestly, I wouldn't want to be living up there now, Val. I've said this before, only because of government oppression, honestly, whether it's the border or airline gates or immigration, whether it's the media, censorship. Everybody I know up there is worried about being monitored, not only monitored, but censored and whatever. I'm saying that's not the way it's supposed to be. Come on, man. Oh, you're getting me riled up. So there's Tucker Carlson, there's Alberta, and I'm sure we're going to wrap it up one of these moments. But you go ahead, Val. I ranted, so you rant. There we go.